The Story of Pop.
What does life mean to you, John? Would it matter to you if it finished tomorrow, or do you want to live to an old age?
I'd like to live to a ripe old age, and I'm not afraid of dying. I don't know how I'd feel at the moment, but I'm prepared for death because I don't believe in it. I think it's just getting out of one car and getting into another.
What do you call that noise that you put on? This is pop, yeah, yeah. This is pop, yeah, yeah. This is pop, yeah, yeah. This is...
Greetings, everyone. This is Alan Freeman with the BBC's Story of Pop. Part 5, Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die.
Can't do it too old, I'm way out of touch. I don't play guitar, I use it as a crutch. And as for my singing, well, that ain't up to much. Can't do it too old, it ain't my scene. I ain't done this kind of thing since I was 17. But the man said, do it, or you don't get a bean. So I'll do it till I'm blue in the face. Sing and play guitar and jump all over the place. Sing some heavy lyrics in the chorus to suit. Nobody will ever know I'm best as a new. I've been backstage drinking, watching the clock. I'm an old rock and roller and I'm too old to rock.
In this edition of The Story of Pop, we'll be concluding our two-part examination of the rock star's career from the cradle to the grave. When we last looked, it was a toss-up whether our subject was going to die young and leave a beautiful corpse, or get himself back on the rails and outlive his welcome. Looks like he chose the life option.
Can't do it too old, it ain't my gig. The music's too loud and the hall's too big. And the sounds I like, well, I guess just you wouldn't dig. I'm an old rock and roller and the time is gone. I stopped buying records back in 1961. But seeing as I'm here, well, the show must go on. So I'll do it till I'm blue in the face. Sing, play guitar and jump all over the place. Sing some heavy lyrics and the calls to fit. The trouble with me is I just don't know when to quit. I forget how many times I've been told I'm an old rock and roller and I'm too old to roll.
You've got to sort of stop, and there's a point where you sort of stop at night, you know, where it's 2 in the morning, say, okay, now I'm just going to be quiet, I'm just going to relax and just think it a bit straight, and, okay, I'll forget about it now, and I'm just going to watch TV or read a book.
Yeah, that's what I am. But give me some Chuck Berry, man. You know, nothing too fiddly. Yeah, give me some Bo Diddley.
Did I hear that right? Mick Jagger going to bed and reading a book? So what about all those stories of sex and drugs and rock and roll in the gossip columns?
Hello, Ruth Streeting here once again with Streeting Streets. We get the words straight from the street. This is the show that dishes the dirt on the dirt. Strictly no rock star bullshit on my show. I don't review pop anymore. I talk about anything I like, or anything I hate. Talking of which, remember that clapped-out 60s Hellraiser Ray High? Rumour has it the sad old lush can't do it anymore. I mean, make records.
I'm an English boy, softly made. You can pin me down, I am not afraid. Show no fear, I will serve with joy. Proud to be here, an English boy. Use me like a headline, cut pieces to pieces. I'm black on the tube line, red on the touchline.
Luckily, his manager was pulling what's left of his hair out. The only thing Ray's writing these days are large cheques to his booze merchants. He's a serious recluse now. Hasn't seen daylight or another woman since his old lady walked out 2 years ago. Poor little sausage brooding in that 22-room glass mansion. Life's a bitch, and so am I.
It's not a normal life. You go out and that's one of the things I've tried to change my life in the last 6 months by giving up drinking and trying to grow up a little bit and getting a little bit of spirituality in my life, which I've never had before. I can lead as normal a life as I want to. I've got a choice. I can make it more normal, and I like actually normal. I come from a very normal background, so I like to get up and on my own now get my own breakfast and not be. I've been surrounded by a lot of people for 20 years. And they've been great people, they've been great friends, but now in this time of life I want my privacy. My life's been an open book to the people around me, and although they've really been great to me, my life must change now.
Look, I need something more than playing empty halls for you and your Freemason cronies.
What you need, Ray, to kick up the bloody arse. I'm running out of your money. If you must be introspective, at least do it in public. But millions want to share in your loneliness and your misery. You'll have to put out something new. Soon you'll have no choice. You'll have to try.
Yeah, the press slaughtered me. I need to be back in control of my own existence. Until then, leave off.
What are you up to, Ray? I mean, what keeps you amused? How can you stand this solitude after all that bloody fun? I mean, what are you now? You're mature.
Mature? I'm not mature, I'm just derelict. Look inside, I'm the same as I ever was.
Some rock stars are so proud of surviving they've written concept albums about getting old and crusty. What you've just heard was an extract from Pete Townshend's 1993 opus, Psycho Derelict, which concerns the psychic traumas of a purely fictional aging rock star. That's what it says here.
I've been around the world, had my pick of any girl. You think I'd be happy, but I'm not. Everybody knows my name, but it's just a crazy game. Oh, it's lonely at the top.
It certainly can be lonely at the top. The first thing you've got to do, as Elton says, is get some outside help. And to do that, you've got to come off that never-ending tour and cure your addiction to the road.
69 was cheapo wine. Have a good time, watch your sign. Float up to the roundhouse on a Sunday afternoon. In 70, we all agree a King's Road flat was a place to be, 'cause Chelsea girls are the best in the world for company. In 71, all the people come, lost a few seats, but it's just in fun. Take the Mick at the top of the pops, we play better than they do. 72 was born to lose, we slipped down snakes into yesterday's news. sight.
All that travelling can take it out on a boy. Eh, Lawton?
Well, I find it hard to take, and yet when I stop doing it, I kind of miss the Holiday Inns, and you know, I spend a lot of time in hotels, and I've written a lot of songs about that, and on also being on the road. It's a very strange existence, and it's I don't know what it is. In this town, television shuts off at 2. What can a lonely rock and roller do? Oh, the bed's so big and the sheets are clean, and your girlfriend said that you were 19. The styrofoam ice bucket is full of ice. Yeah, come up to my motel room, treat me nice. I don't want to make no late night New York calls. I don't want to stare at them ugly grass mat walls. Chronologically, I know you're young, but when you kissed me in the club, you bit my tongue. I'll write a song for you. I'll put it on my new CD. Come up to my motel room, sleep with me. Don't be afraid. I'll put up a sign to warn the cleanup man. Yeah, there's lots of soap and there's lots of towels. Never mind them desk clerk scowls. I'll buy you breakfast. They'll think you're my wife. Come up to my motel room, save my life. Come up to my motel room, save my life.
Aha, so you finally come off the road. But once a rock star's starved of the oxygen of manic adulation, he's got to have something to fill his days. And it's not terribly good form for middle-aged men to shoot out the TV or drive their Lamborghini into the pool. You know, it sets a bad example to their grandchildren. Here's Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits describing his morning routine.
I woke up this morning, my jacuzzi wouldn't work. Then the butler quit on me, man. Can you believe it? Jerk. Must have been my artistic temperament he couldn't take. How come nobody wants to give me a break? I got the blues right now, mean and low. I'm as low as the heels of my alligator shoes. You should know how it feels to have these millionaire blues. Millionaire blues. Oh, well, I found one of my bathrooms and I made it to the sink. I called one of my managers up and I poured myself a drink. Oh, I swear I'd kill that little weasel if I could. I checked myself in the mirror. My hair was looking good, but I had the blues right there. Mean and low. As low as the heels of my alligator shoe. You should know how it feels to have these millionaire blues. Millionaire blues. Get down.
So, when you wake up in your mansion first thing in the afternoon, what can you do to pass the time? You could do worse than making a belated start on looking after your physical well-being. You know, all those years of excess may not have killed you, but they've taken their inevitable toll. So it's off to the multi-gym for Mick.
In my 20s, I mean, people you don't really have to look after your body in 20s, it looks after itself. But after the end of your 20s, you have to start looking after it, which is not much fun, but you have to try and make it interesting if you want to keep going, have lots of energy and enjoy everything that you still want to be able to do that. I mean, everyone knows that. It's another thing to be able to actually be bothered to do it.
Well, so much for breakfast. I couldn't face lunch. I thought I'd raise my spirits with a little champagne brunch. I take the Lamborghini, the flunky parks the car. Can you believe it, man? This other monkey won't let me in the bar. I said, don't you know who I am, man? And he says, no. Can you believe it? I'm as low as the heels of these alligator shoes. You should know how it feels to have these millionaire blues. Millionaire blues. To have these millionaire blues.
The trouble is with this thing is that when you were sort of 25, you only used to have to do 20 minutes of a show. Now you have to do 2 hours and more. I can't do the things I do when I was 25. But that doesn't mean to say that you have to be all flabby and fat and just stand there and fart about. But you got to make you got to be grown up.
John Martin's got his problems too, but with one organ in particular.
All my pleasure's been taken from me one by one. My liver told me. They just said, no more of this, Johnny. No, there comes a point where you physically can't do it, to the same extent as you used to. Simple as that. We don't necessarily have to hang out at the bar together, which was the thing, when I was much younger. That was it. It's like, after the gig, whoopee, where's the party? Let's trash the hotel room, out the window with the colour TV. None of that goes on now. We quietly discuss Debussy and Chopin. It's really altogether more civilized.
I feel that I have known you for a lifetime now. Though these eyes of mine have never touched your face. The distance between us seems so great sometimes. How I need your love to fill this empty space. I keep a watch and I keep a waiting. I keep a watch and I keep a waiting. I keep a watch, I keep a waiting for some kind of sign. I keep a watch and I keep a waiting. I keep a watch and I keep a waiting. I keep a watch, close watch on this heart of mine.
Yes, it's well worth keeping a close watch on your heart, and your liver for that matter. And when you've conquered the habit, you can write your autobiography about my booze and coke hell, and write smug songs about your conversion to the straight and narrow.
Settle down. Now I'm playing it real.
Ringo Starr.
It's an old line, but it's still true. Sick or tired of being sick and tired. You just find yourself, you get on a roll and you can't stop. You know, I didn't plan to be an alcoholic. I didn't plan to be a coke freak. I didn't plan to smoke dope till it came out of my pores. I think you go back to what you were. I'm not sullen. I'm not angry all the time. I like to have fun. I feel good about myself. I love people. I like to hang out with people. As a drunk, I used to, you know, it's easier to put it, as a drunk, I used to smash the place up. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't do that sober. You know what I mean? The real me is not doing that.
So, you've sorted out your health problems. You work out. Finally, you can get down to the serious job of enjoying your serious wealth. Assuming it wasn't embezzled by your manager, record company, or publisher earlier in your career.
Get back. I'm alright, Jack. Keep your hands off of my stack. Money, it's a hit. Don't get me back to good bullshit. I'm in a high fidelity first class traveling section. I think
if your money was half-inched, you're faced with the job of tracking it down. Paul McCartney found his songwriting assets in a very strange place. Michael Jackson's bank.
Michael was obviously very cash-rich with his Thriller situation. He just sold 23 million albums, and if you work out, you know, $1 on each, you pretty much got $23 million, you know, overnight. And that's a fair whack to accept in 1 year. So again, his advisors probably would say, you've got to invest it. And it was actually quite funny because I was quite friendly with Michael at the time, still am really. And he used to keep coming up to me and say, he asked me for a lot of advice. He said, I want your advice, you know. So I said, well, think about music publishing for an investment. I said, it's very nice, and I love it. It's a hobby, something you and I could do, Michael. You'd be very good at it. You're very musical. So jokingly, he sort of looked at me rather coyly and said, I'm going to buy your songs. And I thought, good joke. You know, giving him my fatherly advice, my brotherly advice. There you go, great joke. And I just laughed it off, and we sort of went, had something to eat. Well, next time I saw him, working again, he again looked at me coyly. He said, I'm going to buy your songs, you know. And I thought, still a good joke. Second time, not quite as funny as the first. Well, then I just got rung up from LA. Somebody said, oh, Michael's bought ATV, you know, he's bought all your songs. And that was it, really. And I'm still talking to him about the raise.
Well, Paul, you win some, you lose some. And if you do find yourself short of a few conkers, why not get your record company to reissue all your old back catalogue in a huge CD box set and have a freak #1 with the theme from a jeans commercial? Then you can get the old, grizzled, paunchy lags back together and embark on a greatest hits tour. Keeps the royalties flowing.
But you know nowadays, it's the old man, he's got all the money. And a young man ain't got nothing in the world to say.
Roger Daltry.
There's something about going backwards that is incredibly good for going forwards, if that makes sense. It's amazing when it's like, I suppose you can only equate it with a tree. If trees lose their leaves in the winter and the sap returns to their roots so that it can grow new leaves in the spring. This is the only way I can kind of describe the feeling. It's like we've shed our leaves of the old Who, and the sap has gone back to our roots, through Tommy, through all that old material that we haven't played for donkey's years. And now we've played it with a new band, new drummer, new instruments, and it feels brand new. It really does. It's incredible. And songs that sound like 10 years later like a 3-chord song, very simple song. When you start to rediscover it, and you discover how intricate whose songs were and are, it blows your mind. It really does. And all the other musicians, it's blown their heads as well. They come in and they think, well, this stuff sounds easy. Until they see the chord sheet, you know, then they all freak. But it's been that kind of period of discovery which has been so exciting.
I never thought there'd be days like this. There was always someone at my door. I never thought I would ever miss, and the crowd would always holler for more. But now it seems all that people want is what I used to be. And every time I try to do something new, all they want is 1973. I never thought I'd be regretful for my past success, but some stupid #1 hit singer has got me in this mess. You can put it on every compilation, that's alright. You can hear it on the oldies radio station every night. And if you want it again, you got it. It's right here in my box set. Disc 4 never released before, and you can tell why. It's just some demos I recorded in my basement. At Disc 5 I was barely alive, I was hacking up all along. So they had to use a special computer as my replacement. Disc 6, a dance remix, I can catch the latest trend. And it'll make you scratch your head and wonder where my taste went. Yeah. So now my fans are crying, sell out. They say I've lost my touch. They say I should just get the hell out before I do too much. Well, hear my songs in an ad for a bathroom cleanser. They say it's great. And now I'm wondering where my friends are in this time of need. But if you change your mind and buy it, I hope you enjoy my new box. I hope you enjoy my new box. I hope you enjoy my new box set.
And so, thanks to the box set and a 30-something ad executive in red braces who chose one of your old songs for his new dog food campaign, you've made your comeback and the whole promotional merry-go-round can begin again.
How old are you? Tell me what's your story. How old are you? Tell me when did you start? Are you in it for the money or the glory? Do you still have the brains, the guts, and the heart? When you were younger, you were so much better. When you were younger, you were really hot. Hey, but now you're much older and you're colder than ever. Why don't you hang it up? Why won't you stop? How old are you? How about some facts and figures? How old are you? How about a little background? Is it true you call black people? How come you're always clowning around? How come you don't try to write a novel? How come you don't try to write a play? Yeah, isn't it time you died or retired? Why the hell won't you just go away? How old are you? Are you crazy? How old are you? Are you really a drunk? Are you bitter? Have you grown lazy? Were you embarrassed about dead skunk? How come you didn't get big like Bob Dylan? How come you didn't get big like Springsteen? Were you unable or were you unwilling? Tell us the truth about it. Come on, come clean. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? were younger, you were so much better. When you were younger, you were really hot. Hey, but now you're much older and you're colder than ever. Why don't you hang it up? Why won't you stop? How old are you? Who do you live with? How old are you? Who was your wife? Is it true that you have children? I guess that means that you got a sex life. Well, that's about all. I seem to run out of questions. There's only a few and they're always the same. Yeah, but we got to sell paper and tickets and records so we can keep on playing this show business game. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
Oh. Interviews. Well, here we go again. Tell me, Mr. Wyman, aren't you too old for all this rebellion nonsense the Stones have dined out on for over 30 years?
Too old.
Still very rebellious, then.
No, well, we've heard that Guns N' Roses are getting off doing that, so we thought we'd start to be rebellious too. Before we meet them.
You're looking forward to meeting them, aren't you?
Nah, I'm not.
They've got a very rebellious attitude, I believe. Somewhat akin to your own.
Blimey, that'll make a change, won't it?
Yeah.
That's new. Oh, that's a good idea. Think of a scheme like that. Be rebellious. We should have thought of that.
After toe the line, I've got to make the most. Spent all these years going from pillar to post. Now I'm standing on the outside and I'm waiting in the rain. Tell me why must I always explain? Spread my soul to the crowd, below what the cost. Most of them laughed out loud like nothing's been lost. There were hypocrites and parasites and people that drink. Tell me why must I always explain? Why must I always explain? Over and over again, it's just a job, you know, and it's not sweet Lorraine. Tell me why must I always explain? All right. That makes me complain. It's a fact that I always have to explain. I can't be everywhere at once. There's always somebody to say. And I never turned out to be the person that you wanted me to be. And I tell you who I am time and time and time again. Tell me why must I always explain? On with the show. Always telling people things they're too lazy to know. It can make you crazy, yeah, it can drive you insane. Tell me why must I always explain?
That lovable old cuss, Van Morrison there with some tips for beginners on interview technique. Well, back to Mr. Wyman, who, now he's finally quit the Stones, has got time to sift through all that archive material he's been collecting since 1961. Why did you do it, Bill?
I started doing it to save my son a few bits and pieces so that when he got older he could say my dad was in a band once and he had 2 records out and he was on telly once. And there's the press clippings to prove it. The same as you do when your kid wins a swimming cup or you do, or you won a medal for football, you show your kid when he gets older and says, no, I used to play for Brighton and Hove Albion's 3rd team in 1929. whatever it was.
So, but it's lasted quite a long
It's
time.
just that, you know, and it just got more and more. And by the time he grew up and he was old enough to understand it, he wasn't interested because he'd lived it. He'd been to shows and seen us on TV and heard the records, so it was just part of his life. So I really did it for me in the end.
Bill remembers a lot, but he's wrote a lot down. That's why he knows. He doesn't actually remember it. He's written it down. Can be bothered with it all. I can't really be bothered.
Still, looking back over it all, the laughter and tears, the ups and downs, the swings and roundabouts, it's been good fun, hasn't it? John Mayall isn't complaining, and that's for sure.
Taxman came knocking on my door. I said I already gave. He said he wanted some more. Then my house burned down on a hot summer day. When I saw the smoke clear, didn't know what to say. But come what may, I guess I'll be okay. I can't complain. Got me a broke leg, acting like a fool. Jumped off my balcony and missed the boo. Now my doctor's telling me that I'm eating too much fat. Says high cholesterol just ain't where it's at. But ask me any day, I'll tell you what I say. I can't complain. My car's a lemon now, it's just broken down. For the 100th time I can't get across town. I never got invited to the Grammy show. If my luck ever changes, I really don't know. But ask me any day, tell you what I say. I can't complain, I can't complain, I can't complain. No, no.
The fact that we're actually back together, I think, says that, okay, now everybody's pretty much committed one way or another to taking this thing a little bit further down this mysterious road, which nobody's been down before. But, I mean, not to sort of take the chance to find out, you know, what do you want to call me, chicken? You know what I mean? It would be, you know, turn round now. You're kidding? No way. Got to find out. Yeah, you can always fall flat on your face. It wouldn't be the first time.
Rock stars like Keith Richards, you heard just then, can rightly consider themselves pioneers. You see, they have boldly gone where no man has gone before. They've been to the edge, they've stared over the precipice, and they've come back. So now it's high time they receive their due. A place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or an invitation to play on MTV Unplugged. Or how about a Grammy for a lifetime's achievement?
Last night I dreamed that I won a Grammy. It was pretty presented to me by Debbie Harry. I ran up on stage in my tux. I gulped and I said, oh shucks. I'd like to thank my producer and Jesus Christ. The audience gave me a standing ovation. I shed tears of joy, I shed tears of elation. Behind the podium there, Debbie grabbed my derriere. And I'd like to thank my producer and Jesus Christ. I took my Grammy and Debbie and I walked off stage. We made the cover of Cashbox and the Random Notes page.
So, you've survived, you've received the recognition of your peers, your young wife is expecting your second child, and you've been featured in Hello magazine. What is there left in life but to cruise towards a happy and contented retirement? Yeah?
A couple weeks ago, my wife and I took a little trip down to Mexico. Met this young girl there, we brought her back with us. Now she lives with us in our home. She cleans the hallway, she cleans the stair, she cleans the living room, she wipes the baby's ass, she drives the kids to school, she does the laundry too. She wrote this song for me, listen. Yeah, the other afternoon, my wife and I took a little ride into Beverly Hills. Went to the private school, our oldest child attends. Many famous people send their children there. This teacher says to us, we have a problem here. This child just will not do a thing I tell him to. He's such a big old thing, he hurts the other children. All the games they play, he plays so rough. Hold it, teacher, wait a minute. Maybe my ears are clogged or something. Maybe I'm not understanding the English language. Yeah, you don't seem to realize my life is good. My life is good. My life is good, you old bag. My life. Just this evening, some young associates of ours are flying in to see us from New York City. They're gonna stay with us for a couple weeks or so. I'm gonna take them to restaurants and everything. Gonna get them some real good cocaine. They don't get much where they come from. And this one guy's wife is such a pretty little brown thing that I'm allowed to give her a poke or two. What do you think of that? Teacher, let me tell you a little story. Just this morning, my wife and I went to this hotel in the hills. That's right, the Bel Air Hotel. A very good friend of ours happens to be staying. And the name of this young man is Mr. Bruce Springsteen. That's right. Yeah, we talked about this kind of woodblock or something, and this new guitar we like. And you know what he said to me? I'll tell you what he said to me. He said, Rand, I'm tired. How would you like to be the boss for a while? Well, yeah. Blow, big man. Blow. My life is good. My life
when I eventually fall over, I'll probably, there'll be a guitar there, and I'd like to have my boots on. Definitely what it'll be, I'll be staggering off with a walking stick and a guitar, you know, down to the corner club, and that's really how I see it. I don't, because that's what I am. I think that's what I do. It's just like other people paint pictures, and this is what I do. So that's how I'd like it. That's really how I'd like it to go. I don't see it as it being any different. When I think about being old and grey and stuff and working with music, I don't necessarily think about grand schemes and big things, although it might well end up that way. But to me, that'll still be a big beat, even if it's in a small place.
You've reached the autumn of your life, and all that's left is you and your wife, and a dog and duck. That's how it is. It's as simple as that. Ooh, and the money.
I mean, what would I retire to? What would I go to? See, I'm doing right now the main thing I've always wanted to do. I ain't never want to do nothing else but what I'm doing now. Nothing but what I'm doing now. I can do a few other things, but I don't ever want to do anything but what I'm doing. So what the hell am I retired to? Fortunately for me, it seems not only am I making myself happy, but I'm still making other people happy with what I do. Well, I think that's a pretty good deal.
Everybody's sort of psychologically afraid of things. Life wasn't meant to live that way. You're supposed to not be afraid of anything. Life can be totally spent conquering one's fears, can't it? You know, and then you're ready to die, unafraid. That's a good challenge in itself.
We can rock the world's foundation. Yes, everybody together. With a heart of love, love, love across the nation. Holy, together and holy. We the clean love, our salvation.
Mark Knopfler, Ray Charles and Marvin Gaye on the prospect of old age. And now, the end is near. And so I face the final... Sorry, Frank. If you're going to die, you might as well go like the legendary songwriter Doc Pomus, whose list of clients is a virtual who's who of music. It must surely be the dream of everyone connected with pop. Joel Dawn describes the scene.
It was like a gangster's funeral in there. There were flowers and fruit baskets and gifts. There were moments in the hospital that were so touching. He had one entire wall of his room covered with get well messages and good wishes. I mean, for everybody from Bonnie Raitt to Andy Williams, you know what I mean? I mean, everybody wrote him letters. The wall was like... It was unbelievable. It was like a who's who of American popular music over the last 30 years. And the absolute most touching moment of his whole stay in the hospital, Ray Charles sent him a tape and spoke to him. And I remember Doc played it for me. And in it, Ray said, I love you and, you know, keep fighting and all of that kind of stuff. And then there was one part where I'm paraphrasing it, but it was so moving. Ray was stumbling a little bit, and he said, I guess the reason God made me a singer is because it's just hard for me to say what I want when I talk, but I love you, man. And it was wild. And there was an outpouring like that. And I know it made Doc feel better. I don't think any great artist who keeps reaching ever really feels fulfilled in his lifetime. And I think if he does, it kind of cuts short the reach, the thing that makes you good, makes you come up with stuff. But the last 6-8 months of his life, I think he got a sense of how much people loved him. He was sorry that he had to get lung cancer for that to happen. But there were some really, really poignant moments. And I'll tell you one thing. His funeral was about the happiest funeral I was ever at. 10 of us delivered eulogies. Ahmet Ertegun, Phil Spector, myself. And then just a bunch of cats, bartenders he knew from the old days in Brooklyn, and young songwriters who he was helping along, who probably you'll never hear of, and stuff like that. But at the end of it, when the casket, which was parallel to the pulpit, while all the eulogies were being delivered, was turned around so that it would go down in the center aisle of the funeral home, as the casket was turned around, and everybody was, that's like not exactly a happy moment in people's lives to see a buddy, go do the final mambo there. As the casket was turned around over the loudspeaker system in the funeral hall, you heard the Drifters, and they played Save the Last Dance for Me. And the place went berserk. Everybody stood up, started laughing and clapping and cheering and stuff, and everybody was just uplifted for that moment. And it was like almost like a New Orleans funeral. It was an incredible way to say goodbye to somebody you loved. And Doc, who kind of enjoyed a certain kind of a public appreciation, although some of it made him nervous, he couldn't have planned a better funeral for himself. I mean, if he wanted to say goodbye to himself, I know he would have done it that way.
Sometimes I wonder, just what am I fighting for? I win some battles, but I always lose the war. I keep right on stumbling, and there's no man's land out here. Yes, I know there must be a better world somewhere.
So there you have it, the life of a rock star from the cradle to the grave. So do you still want to be one?